And they're the streets you drive every day. State lawmakers are making fixing our state's roads and bridges a priority.
But they have different ideas for how much to spend and who's going to pay for it. And that's all leading to what could be a very contentious debate at the State House. RTV 6 State House reporter Katie Hines joins us live with details on that. Katie?
Jason, Erica, there are now 4 different proposals on the table at the State House for fixing the state's roads and bridges. The governor, House Republicans, Senate Republicans, and House Democrats have all unveiled their own plans, some as much as $2 billion. The state's roads are receiving mixed reviews from drivers at I-74 and Post Road.
You go down here to Troy, there's potholes all over the place.
I live on the west side, so they're not too bad.
But state lawmakers agree significant repairs are needed. House Speaker Brian Bosma discussed his ideas for funding fixes on Indianapolis this week. They include a possible increase in the state tax on cigarettes and a gradual shift in the 7% sales tax on gasoline to the Motor Highway Vehicle Fund.
It's an important funding source. It's one we'll have to look how it can over time be placed completely in the Motor Vehicle Highway Fund. But when people buy a gallon of gas at the pump, they expect those funds to make their way to the roads and bridges of our state, and that's our goal.
But the idea of a tax increase appears to be a non-starter with the governor.
It's going to be a very important debate, and the proposal that we have to invest $1 billion in preservation over the next 4 years, I think, is the right approach without a tax increase.
Last week, Governor Pence told us he's glad to see the focus on infrastructure. He unveiled a $1 billion proposal using bond financing and a portion of the state's reserves. He's also worked with Senator Brant Hirschman on a separate plan to allocate $418 million to local governments, 3/4 of which would go toward road repairs or a rainy day fund.
The local governments are not children, and they don't all have the same need. They all, for the most part, do need revenue, but some need it more for roads, some need it more for police.
House Democrats are proposing to spend twice as much as the governor wants to spend. That would be on both state and local roads. State lawmakers will sort through all the details when they return to the State House in 2 weeks. Reporting live tonight, Katie Hines, RTV 6.
Also along the transportation front, traffic along US 31 just north of Indy now smooth sailing just in time for the holidays. After 4 pretty painful years off and on, construction there is now over. All lanes of US 31 are open through Carmel to Westfield. The roughly 74,000 drivers who use that stretch of the road daily will now travel on additional lanes in both directions there. This is the last of 3 US 31 projects, which officials believe will save drivers about 30 minutes or so. Crews removed more than 30 traffic signals as part of that overhaul.